Good morning. Taking a different route as yesterday. It was quite slippy on my route, so I'm on by the main road. It feels cold enough to snow today. Hopefully. It says there's a 40% chance of snow coming up. That's your morning weather report. Hope you're all good. Just on the way to studio this morning for our Christmas quiz workout. I've got some horrendous trivia, jokes, riddles in my pocket actually. Then we have Tai Chi, also all from home as well. So, and step this morning, step and boxing. Yeah. So, wanted to talk about, can I lose weight? I had a question, can I lose weight sitting eating cheese? It was probably prompted by the picture of cheese I put up yesterday, which if you didn't see, if you go on my Facebook, there's a great spread of cheese, but also about 6 of my 5 a day in there as well. Camembert, brie, not as my 5 a day. Stilton, cheddar, but then I had lots of celery, carrot, cucumber, peppers, lots of veggies in there as well, olives. So, can you still eat these foods? So it's cheese, potatoes and fruit they spoke about, but the thing I want to talk about here is obviously, in short, you can still lose weight and eat these foods, like 100%. There's been countless studies where they show this. Like, there's no need to remove them completely from your diet. But obviously, calories are king, and finding a way to create a calorie deficit which works for you is the most important thing. Now, if you're not counting calories, which is fine too, you can do it either way, whatever you find easier really, and most likely to do. Having potatoes at every meal, having cheese at every meal, having lots of fruit, I guess, like at every meal, and different fruits can just increase the probability that you overeat. For example, we had about 5 different cheeses yesterday, and because we had 5 different cheeses, guess what? I ate a bit more because I wanted to try a few different ones. So the more variation you have at a meal, the more likely you are to overeat. That's why generally at buffets, people eat more. People tend to eat more at buffets than they do at a sit-down meal. That's because there's so much choice. We walk up and we go, a bit of that, bit of that, bit of this, bit of that. So maybe that's one good thing about this situation. There are less buffets. So that is maybe helping our food intake. But my point in this is that these are whole foods, potatoes, cheese, and fruit, which are actually quite full of nutrition. You look at potatoes, good potassium, starch. Obviously how you cook them is going to have a big role. If you cut the skin off and fry them, deep fat fry them as chips, they're going to be slightly different and easier to overeat than if you just had a jacket potato. And I would throw it out there, if you had a jacket potato, tuna, sweet corn, bit of mayo, like that's quite a filling meal. And often what happens is when we think we have to cut these foods out completely, we end up snacking more in between because we're still hungry. Now that said, like I said before, this is about creating a plan that you can stick to. So if you have potatoes every meal now because you've been told, I've got permission to eat any food I like, so I'm going to have potatoes all the time, but you'll then eat more at every meal, that may not be a good idea. And it may be that you just go, right, what's the meal that I need to make more substantial but also easy to make? So it could be your lunch, for example. Let's say you're struggling with lunch and it ends up being a bit picky, especially when work's busy again. It ends up being a bit picky and you don't really sit down and have a proper meal. This is a great opportunity to go, yeah, I'd have my jacket potato, protein sauce, then you've got some substantial meal that you actually enjoy. You're not feeling like you're missing out, and you're using it then to go, yeah, I've actually ticked off all the nutrients that I need in the day to feel more full up, to feel more satisfied. So that's just an example of how these so-called foods that sometimes are labelled as, you know, every year, come January, it's like, this year it's potatoes, last year it was butter, now it's saturated fat. Every year it's a different thing, and we like to blame one thing, but the reality is the research is very clear that no matter what diet you do, morning rain, no matter what diet you do, creating a calorie deficit is the key thing. So then you've got to think of what helps me stick to it. Whether that's the type of foods, whether that's more protein, more fibre, these are generally going to help your hunger hormones, and also generally going to help you feel more satisfied and almost trick you to feel like you're eating more volume of food, but not necessarily more calories. Also, if you think about like vegetables with a crunch in, that can be quite satisfying at a meal. So there's all these things that play into how full you feel. Then you throw into the more processed foods you eat, sugar, fat, salt, the more they almost override these senses. So we often blame potatoes or blame like carbs, but often if you think of the carbs that are really easy to overeat, they're actually often smothered in fat too. So really, they're high in carbs and fats. Take chips, for example, take cake, for example. It's not just carbs, it's also carbs and fats, which together are delicious. And like I said, it's not like you can't have them, but the problem with the words like moderation are that when they're not defined, it can become a bit, well, I'll just have them now, I'll just have them then, rather than what some people find helpful. And like I said, this isn't specific advice, because it's got to be personal to you. I had a chat with someone the other day, just before Christmas, and they were like, yeah, I work better if I just have I don't want to count calories, but I work better if I have a simple kind of rule that says, you know, I'll eat cake on a special occasion. I'll eat carbs when I'm at work, like as in potatoes at lunch. And this is kind of where it stemmed from as well, with the potato. But to that then gives her structure. She's like, yeah, I can have it. I just have it when I know I'm on a working day. So she's working from home or the office. She'll have that jacket because she knows, otherwise she'll just pick all day. Then she ends up actually eating more than the calories in the jacket potato. So, hope that helps. I'm nearly there now. Any questions, as always, let me know. Need to get set up for our morning live, and then we are good to go. So, still no snow. Disappointing. There's still time. I'll keep going live every morning until I get a walk in the snow whilst doing it. That's what I wanted today. So refreshing. Anyway, hope you have a great day. Any questions on this, let me know, and speak soon.